very much, Professor Krusman, dear participants, distinguished guests. I take this privilege and great honor of introducing to you Her Excellency Dr. Otunbayeva and of mentioning some of the professional and career highlights of Her Excellency. Rosa Otunbayeva is a recognized and internationally appreciated politician. She was foreign minister of the Kyrgyz Republic for several times and served her country as an ambassador to the United States of America, to Canada and the United Kingdom. Furthermore, she was General Secretary and the head of the Commission of the USSR for UNESCO and Vice President of the Executive Board of UNESCO. During her time as ambassador in London, Dr. Rosa Otunbayeva also represented Kyrgyzstan at the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. In spring of 2010, Dr. Rosa Otunbayeva was selected by the opposition leaders to lead the interim government of Kyrgyzstan after the former regime was ousted from the country as a result of the violent mass protests in the country. In July 2010, Madam Rosa Otunbayeva was elected as the president of the Kyrgyz Republic, thus becoming the first female president of the Kyrgyzstan and of the region. Within her presidency, Rosa Otunbayeva succeeded in bringing about constitutional reform, which turned Kyrgyzstan into the first parliamentary republic in Central Asia. And in the end of 2011, Dr. Rosa Otunbayeva transferred the presidential power in a peaceful manner. To appreciate her outstanding role for the Kyrgyz Republic during the last decade, she received the International Women of Courage Award of the United States Department of State in 2011. Furthermore, she was honored with the prestigious French decoration, Commandeur de la Légion d'honneur award, which made her member of the Legion of Honor in 2012. The same year, she was awarded by the Global Women Leadership Network with the Global Women Leadership Award for her achievements. Furthermore, she was twice nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize in 2011 and 2012. And after her departure from politics, Madam Otunbayeva devotes her attention to the activities of the International Public Foundation, the initiative of Rosa Otunbayeva. Now I pass the floor to Her Excellency. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, dear participants in this conference, it is great honor for me to be in Graz, Österreich, and to talk about the problems of women in Central Asia. I think this is a quite unique conference in the way that we have endless problems in Central Asia regarding the status of women, the problems women meet with. At the same time, someone in the world cares about those problems. And because in this audience we have quite a number of experts on women issues in Central Asia, and we do know very well what kind of problems we are facing too. At the same time, we have good ears of people who make a decision how to solve, to help Central Asian countries to solve those problems. But probably this is the right place where we can discuss in details all these problems. Patricia Floor, Ambassador of the European Union to Central Asia, has done a very comprehensive such a review of all the problems which we are facing. And so when the conference has started, that everyone came with such a greeting development for Central Asian countries. When we have started our journey to the Soviet story as part of the Soviet Union, it's been like Afghanistan of today, let's say. So the same situation, almost the same. That was certainly when someone is talking about Central Asia overall. This is the situation which you will probably meet 2 or 1.5 centuries ago. So in 70 or in 80 years, we make a leap or jump toward to the progress, and we reached literacy, high literacy among women. We have finished the Soviet story with 100% of literacy in all Central Asian countries, no doubt about this. This is our great achievement, which we should save and carry further up. We reached better education among women than among men, certainly, and it relates to all of such a status. Either you are talking about for just the workers, ordinary, or you are talking about the PhD people. So every time women are far ahead of men. In Soviet days, we reached also political some empowerment. I must tell that today we are missing very much position of women in every rayon. For example, in my country, we have 41 rayons, and we used to have women, at least by quota, in charge of social issues or ideological issues if we are talking about the party politics. So this is now absolutely empty. This work, this job, this field, absolutely empty. Nobody looks after this. We are talking about the pluralism, about democracy. Yes, we are striving to get to the democracy, but it means pluralism today that you have in the field everyone as actors. Wahhabis, Hizb ut-Tahrir, Scientologists, all sorts of such people who want to privatize our impoverished population. So I think this is, you see, this is my motion. So I think those difficulties which we are facing today, they are extremely difficult. And I understand that this is not something extra. We are the whole human height, how to say. So we are moving ahead, we are losing, we are gaining something, and in this direction, this field, I regret very much that nobody can involve very closely. You're touching inter-ethnical conflict issues. Professor Marco, you're talking about Balkan conflict. Yes, we faced a year or 1.5 years ago conflict in the south of our country. Now again, we badly need expertise, people who would engage with this special topic. And Ambassador Ford, you are absolutely right. Women are the first diplomats, the first peacekeepers, peacemakers, peace builders in this field. So, UN Peace Building Fund helped us to organize such peacekeepers, and they went to the ocean Janaba, and so we had quite such a tangible work done regarding the peace building. But again, I want to tell you that in many ways today we are facing such two opposition trends I would underline. On the one hand, it is the ongoing impact of the large-scale project of emancipation, which is implemented before, in which the performance of the traditional mission of the mother, combined with the integration of women into the labor force. And in order to achieve this, the effective measures have been implemented in the education system, employment policy, social protection. As a result, women in modern Kyrgyzstan have a high level of education and comprise a significant share of the economically active population. I will try to compare the numbers in all 5 Central Asian countries, and it's very difficult to find them. I would turn to our donors who badly need sort of new data, and I have numbers in my country. I was looking for the numbers in UN, via UN agencies data, but very hard to find comprehensive such a data among all these Central Asian countries. And there is a time to collect such a data and to compare and to start to analyze. In recent years, there has been an increase in the other trend, one directly related to the growing number of supporters of traditional religious beliefs and customs. One very visible evidence of this trend was in Kyrgyzstan right after the revolution of 2005, when no women were elected to parliament. We got men's parliaments, and that was the base for such a overall nation-wide frustration, and that certainly was the base for another revolt very soon. Public attention to this problem led to the inclusion of temporary special measures, the special quotas being taken, and this 2012. This is 5 years sort of celebration of these quotas in my country into the election of the Kyrgyz Republic. And this had a positive effect on the international image of the country. And in our parliament, we had women occupy 1/4 of the seats. When we are talking about the political empowerment and women on the high position in Central Asia, sometimes I think this is rather decorative, such steps and actions. Someone wants to look better than on the international scene, because some authoritarian regimes, they appoint themselves. It's not just a sort of election by a nation overall. And if someone wants to be really look better, then why not to have 20-something% in the parliament, someone deputy prime minister, someone even higher, and so on. So this is, I think we should be very critical regarding all this position of women in our part of the world. Certainly, when I became president, and I was chosen by the group of opposition leaders of the opposition, and as you probably heard that you wrote about the events in Kyrgyzstan, April 2010, opposition was in jail while in the square in front of the White House. People, frustrated people, came to the central square and they've been shot from the windows of the White House. We lost straight 89 young and from other people, and so that was fiasco of Bakir's government. Opposition leaders been in prison, and the same night we get together, and me as the leader of opposition in the parliament, and I was a leader of social democrats which has passed a new constitution with a parliamentary democracy. And we are only parliamentary democracy in Central Asia. It's such a rare case. We are certainly in, for absolutely like white crown in this neighborhood. So, and it is very difficult to survive, believe me. Parliamentarism in Kyrgyzstan needs special care. And 27th of June, my name is in Constitution, it's written, and that's how I was chosen as president. Until this 27th of June, starting April 7, nobody recognized us in the world. Even our strategic partners, nobody allowed us to come to the big meetings like CIS or Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So that was, my country became out of role. Starting 27th of June, I was the only legitimate person who took care of this country up to October 10, when we got parliamentary elections. Then we got a new parliament. So 3 and more months, the whole country was on my neck and shoulder. That was very critical time. And for example, I learned the idea that Eber Foundation's representative told that all of us, we want to learn about this part of the world or this part of the world. So you would learn about Central Asia via women. Women are the motto of Central Asia. They are NGO leaders, they are leaders in the newspapers, and they are the chief editors of big magazines and so on. Women consist at least 20, 23, 24% of the parliaments in our countries. Women are on a very high position in some other of our countries. And I do believe women are wider of all the relations in Central Asia. I know that the European Union or the United Nations, OSCE, everyone has a headache how to bring all the Central Asian countries together. You can do this via women. Women will be such a clay among us who would really join all these Central Asian countries. Certainly, their leaders are different. They rule the countries. But women will work very closely with each other. And I applaud this idea that today, Professor Marco, I wanted to tell you while you are here, thank you that you hired Mr. Krusman, who really started to run this program on Russian and Central Asian studies, that's right, yeah? So this is very important. That brings you up to the, for Europe's level, this Graz University. This is so important because, look, at least Central Asia is a resource region in the world. This is one of the largest resource regions. And we know what is the real politics is about. And we do realize that you need also resources. And again, you would find the key are women. So you can go, thank you. That was important to tell you. I wanted to tell you, of course, all Central Asian countries, they have different today economical status. Kazakhstan's per capita today is $10,000 per year. Kyrgyzstan is about $1,000. And of course, we want, I've been recently in Azerbaijan and Turkmenistan. Also, I found that they have $10,000 per capita. So we have different economical status also. It says a lot. My foundation works, for example, on such an issue like Certainly, kindergartens are not for everyone. Kindergartens are economic of adults. If I have money, kindergarten can care my children. If we do not have all these factories and other such industries, then you should pay from your pocket. But the government, the state, should take the obligation to prepare children to the school, to build the same equal opportunities to start the school. That's what we can implement in my country. So children of 6, 7 years come to the school, and there are a number of children who didn't took the calabash in their hands. So this is very difficult for such a kid to continue, to start, and to continue to study. And this is the case for many, many problems over the school years. And I must tell you that I have seen the numbers in other countries of Central Asia, and it's very low also. And believe me, I got now for my presidential positions now very down into this preschool and pedagogy, and I do realize as a Japanese founder of Sony company who wrote the book, after 3 it's already late. So it's late. We should engage with our children. The society starts from this early childhood. But we are talking about maternal and infantry death in our countries, in Central Asia. We are talking about diseases of poor societies. We are talking about the violations against the women. So, I mean, those problems are impossible to resolve sometimes. I must tell you, as head of the state, it was for me very shame to respond to the UN that we can't meet those UN goals. We can't meet because we have all these burdens, social burdens with us, which are today absolutely the country, the government can't meet these problems today. And it is because of education, low education, because of social impoverishment, because of many, many problems which you know very well. I want to turn all my talk, and I can certainly give you my statement where I classified and I tried to respond to the title of my report on women's rights as a mirror of societal development in Central Asia. I have a lot of arguments to tell you that we have quite a problematic development in Central Asia today regarding women. But I'm afraid that we have quite such a very strong group of experts here in this beautiful audience that they would really tell me what is your task to open America. You came to Graz University, so I would stop with that. And let me tell you how to solve, how to try to approach these problems, and what kind of problems all of us, the shrinking number of donors, can tackle. I do believe, I do know that Europe faces the financial crisis today. I do know that the whole world has a lot of problems, but believe me, without your assistance, problems of women in our part of the world will be in very, very sad situation. We thank you very much, all the donor community, who still care about all these problems and help us to find and to learn the instruments which we should be equipped with to tackle such problems. I it's not enough for the solution of these problems, maternal, infant, health problems, education problems. Now, plus a lot of emergencies, natural emergency problems, because 70% of victims are women and children. A lot of things today was said about the violence against women. And I have seen in the program that especially women from Kyrgyzstan, just a bit from Kazakhstan, they focus their attention on the kidnapping, which is really very such a, I would say, this is one tradition, if this is tradition. Believe me, when we bring this problem to the attention of the parliament in Kyrgyzstan, you would not believe that this is modern parliament of today, because men would start to protect men's side, and sometimes women also, because in kidnapping, actors are also women. Women who would receive this kidnapped girl and try to convince her to stay in this home. So this is really a very wild, such an anachronism which we live with until today. But a lot of efforts from the international community also given to us, and we recently in the parliament, the law has passed that for 7 years will be given to the people who kidnapped the girl. Before it was only 3 years, today it's 7 years. And women in the parliament and the NGO community were very active and insisted that, look, when animals like sheep or horses stolen, you give 7 years or 10 years, and when women is kidnapped, then it's only 3 years. So that was probably one of the strong arguments when this law has passed, and it is, I'm sure that it will be signed. This is one of the steps when we make a stronger law regarding the violence of women. Certainly we have organized, built a lot of crisis centers in our countries. We have a lot of such trainings in every oblast and in every place regarding the violence against the women. We have this rather problematic such development in our countries. This is of course growing traditionalism among Islam's tradition. So for some men, they allow themselves to have more than one wife, and so this is something what they will claim that this is a tradition in our part of the world. And again, it comes to the parliament's discussion. It's a shame to listen to such a discussion, but this is the public opinion which we confront with, and certainly we know how to struggle, how to win in such a struggle, but sometimes it's also very difficult for us to do this. I would turn your attention to the women's activity in industries, in general, in economical fields. So economical empowerment of women. In Kyrgyzstan, we have quite a strong, such a very small business, which grew up under the microcredit movement. union organizations. GTZ has started some years ago, and we want very much to strengthen this. Actually was elected as honorary chairman of this great union movement also, which is very important because hundreds and hundreds dispersed farmers, they can't do successful business. So we need to build them, to unite them under great unions. So this will be another such development for women. Just recently, we had a conference on entrepreneurship among women of Central Asia. Our friends from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, they came to Bishkek and they made a quite a comprehensive analysis how medium-sized small business developed in Central Asian countries. And I must tell you, of course, in big business, probably to be 5% women. And it's because probably, honestly, you are part of oligarch's family or you link to such places. Otherwise, it's difficult for women to build such a big business. Women are concentrated in middle-sized business and small business. I have articulated attention of this conference on the matter of women, members of the big shareholders' companies, where state controls the big portion of action. So in our countries, not everything is privatized, thanks God, yet. So we have big companies like in Kyrgyzstan, Post, electro stations, for railroad, and so on and so on. And nobody knows how people are elected or selected to those boards of directors, and how these generators of big money, they are governed. And I can tell you that no women are among those members of board of directors. I know that this is a very trendy topic in the world, women movement, but this is zero done in our part of the world. And I asked our Kurat Association, this women entrepreneur organization in Kyrgyzstan, to start to look to analyze this topic. This is important, very important to my mind, because in my country, for example, if you compare with other countries, we have set up such oversight committees in every ministry. This is with regard to struggle against corruption. We look after the budget, how budget is spent. These oversight committees are important. Women in the fight against corruption are crucial in our countries. And I must tell you with the great proud that in Kyrgyzstan, and really there is my contribution also, I put it forward women prosecutor general in my country, women the head of the Supreme Court, women the head of the chairman of the National Bank. They passed our parliament. They are still there on these high positions. And now the incumbent president, he put forward to the consideration of the parliament women, the head of accounting chamber. You see, in Kyrgyzstan, all these control positions are covered by women. And we do believe that this is really very important in our fight against corruption. I read such a very interesting remark given in Athens conference this June. This is Women Business Club. One woman said, "Look, it is so sad that wives in our emerging societies, emerging market societies, they are in silence when their they should be very worried that they didn't have anything and suddenly they started to have fortunes. So this is, I think, very interesting that we should repeat this, and we should appeal to ordinary women in our transition societies when, as you know, that everything will belong to the public. In 20 years, everything has changed. 20% or even less belong all the public goods belong to this 10%, and others got empty. So this is, I understand that this is important for us, and you are right, Ambassador, for that in our countries, civil society comprised totally from NGOs, 95% of NGOs in my country, out of 5,000 are women, 23% are members of the parliament in my country, and 25 of November we'll have elections to the local councils, and I must tell you again with proud that democracy goes down in my country, and elections, we have every fourth women should be, every fourth person should be women in the local, level, and you have thanks God also women in local councils. So this is also important, and I would ask that Graz University, which is now getting to be a center for Balkan countries, some very acute topics, training center. And you have started the center of CIS studies and Central Asia studies. You got all the women together today. I think it will be very important to turn the attention of such an organization like OEC also and bring to this table. Why when we are talking about the new mandate of the OEC, this is economical, ecological. This is something very trendy. We don't like to engage anymore with democracy, political agenda, so we turn toward economical and ecological, if I'm right. So I understand their mandate. So then, look, what about the security of women? Security of women, this is half of the population of every country. So why not training of women together with the OEC, together with the European Union? If Graz University will gather women, young women like this time, and from deputies, members of the parliament from Central Asia, also together. And as member of the Madrid Club, I was invited recently to go to Ethiopia for the African such a project, women together there. And they engaged in peacekeeping, many economical empowerment and so on. Why not really to have here also sort of such a training for women from Central Asia on this topic? And I would endorse any initiative that will give us advancement in economic empowerment, in political empowerment, and I would also add Mongolia. I've been this July in Mongolia. I found such a country which needs also attention. So many common things with Mongolia. And probably we can help somehow to Afghanistan in some way in this regard. And I would say that women's empowerment, women's issues, problems in our countries will be not just discussed, not just exposed to the world as wild phenomena and so on, but will be trained, will start to learn from each other. In the development of parliamentarism, recently we had such a conference, we found so many common things with Kenya, for example. So And we would find a lot of things together with the other parts of the world. And you have certainly such a compendium of advanced things. I must tell you, we have very acute problems in Kyrgyzstan. I can't tell about other Central Asian countries. I had a chance and the opportunity to travel to Turkmenistan, which is far away from Kyrgyzstan. For a long time I didn't travel to Uzbekistan. I know a bit about Tajikistan. Even on my level, it is very difficult to find about each other something. Of course, on the level of researcher, probably they communicate more often. Formal communication among parliamentarians, somewhere within CIS, even within the OSCE. But it's very difficult to find out the real picture, what's going on in our countries. So, with this regard, the support of researchers is vital. New data collection is important. Expose for us of new instruments to solve problems in economic empowerment, to show us how to escalate in political empowerment, how to work for parliamentarians to advance in lawmaking. All these problems are very important for all our women. Believe me, even with such facts like every third child in my country today lives in the family not registered. So it sounds to me not good, although I think the world trend is also very mixed overall. And this kidnapping, it makes very shameful my country in front of the world. And unless we are not progress socially, then it's very difficult to solve this problem. When migration is quite a heavy burden for my country, and we have in the time of peak about 1 million people going abroad to work, most of them in Russia, then these guys, they sometimes just make a slavery action. They bring girl to home for slavery of their family. Girl should serve his family while he's in migration. So this is the trend. And what is the key? It is economical solution of basic economical problems also in the whole Central Asia. Yes, Central Asia is economically rich, even in my country, which has quite impressive gold resources, water resources, the most precious in decades to come. Even in my country, certainly, it is so regrettable that we can't straight in 20 years to solve all our problems. Our societies, educated. Today, probably, let's say 90 to 93% of population are educated. Certainly, we are not African nations, some of them, not every African nation, but some of them. A lot of things invested already in our countries. So, start point, if this is the end of the Soviet Union, we should go ahead. We should escalate, we should trickle up further. And so this is the time when we should really analyze, work, and you have here entrepreneurs, you know, his lab, creative lab, they explore and they build this, the new route about the social entrepreneurship. It sounds very sort of awkward, how and so. But look, we need new paths, new methods, new approaches. I wish every success to